περίεργη να μάθω πώς αντιδράει το κοινό με το έργο του, βλέποντας τις ταινίες σε όλο τον κόσμο.
Like this, I think always very marginalized audience. My film is personal, and so I know it's not for everyone. So it's very people who how you say, love movie, but sometimes not necessary. But it's also a limit number. For Uncle Bunmi is the first film that has been released more than 40 countries, and so far, you know, many people who feel connect with it wrote me emails and saying that it's very better than getting award in Cannes, but somehow Cannes help that movie to reach them. And you know, one guy in Paris, he sent me a photo, a serious photo of a young teenager boy who is very beautiful on the beach, and he said, yeah, this is my son who died in January, but after he watched Uncle Bunmi, somehow he felt better about the son's death. So for me, this is very is the best for filmmaker. And also in Thailand, you know, there's a guy who worked in a rice factory, rice mill, and that he watched Uncle Bunmi and he wrote an analysis for 4 pages, sent it to me, and with a bag of rice. So I said, wow, thank you, this is very nice, and how people interpret in their own way. So it's not only a cinephile, it's yeah.
I'm really interested in the structure of your films, how quite a few of the feature films have different sections in them, which I find really fascinating. Can you explain a little bit about your process with the script writing, how you decide how to structure those films?
It's hard to pinpoint. For each film, they have different concept, different theme, but mostly it always changing through the process of doing the making, the writing, and travel with my actors. Actually, when I always ask my actor about this character, and now I write with their name in mind. And sometimes, like Jenjira, she wrote me to update her life, and now she's trying to get her leg operated, and for example, something like that. And then she kind of fell in love online with a man in Florida, for example. So this kind of thing really propelled me to write, and also not only with my regular actors, but also the new one that you know, I try to absorb and try to adapt the character to them, and also they feel comfortable too, because they don't have to, you know, to fake to be someone else and to be themselves. So yeah, that's one of the process that each film is different. Yeah.
Hi. The end of Uncle Bumi signifies a breaking of the narration in 2 parts. The first part is the monk staying with the 2 women inside the room, and the second part is living with one of them, her aunt I think, and going to the bar. This is a direct reference from science, from modern physics. I mean, is it a quantum leap? Is it somehow a junction where 2 realities living aside somehow, and is there a direct influence of these ideas and these scientific approaches inside your cinema?
I think indirectly, because even though I'm interested in science, but I'm not really a hardcore, you know, reader, but somehow I think the whole movie talk about time and about how we remember and the time shifting and how we as an audience always depended on time, linear time in movies from A to B, and in the end, I break the time to suggest the possibility that maybe what you watch, there's another thread of story that you don't know, and there's maybe not only two, but maybe multiple, and that's how you say, kind of making the audience aware that hey, you're watching a movie, it's an illusion, So that's a rough idea. But, there's a audience in New York who asked me, what's the relationship between your film and quantum physics? I said, wow. So I said, I'll get back to you later. For example,
But there is this kind of approach. Anyway, and how much Uncle Boomy speaks about time. It's a film that works with light and time. And what is the main reference to L'année dernière à Marienbad by Hélène, who speaks also about time, speaks about memory? How much these two movies can interact together?
Well, I haven't thought about that film. I was more conscious about Chris Marker's La Jetée, when Uncle Bumi talked about his time machine, and it was my dream, and I was, wow, it's so obvious, and so we struggle a bit whether to put that in because it's so direct reference to Chris. So anyway, we decided to put in because it talk about time, and also reference, the whole movie is reference to different cinema that I watch and I like, and Chris Marker is one of them, and when he talked about the future, but the way he presented is primitive. It's like the still image. It's not moving image. It's go back to time before the image can move. So that's what I'm interested in, and also the image you saw, even though it's talk about the future, but also the image itself in the village, in the rice field, is also primitive. So that this push and pull between future and the past, and also the reference and tribute to Antonioni in Blow Up, when one of the guy posed the picture, taking photo, and of course the whole film is about this, about the still image and the illusion of the still image and the moving image, that Blow Up has.
Hi. Yesterday, when you announced the film, you said that we shouldn't think a lot. So I was just wondering, to what extent, like your script writing and your process follows some kind of a story, and do you like put something just because you like it, or can you comment on that?
Yes, mostly there's some references, but sometimes it's so vague. It's just an image or some incident that I witnessed or experienced, but I couldn't explain certain logic, but I put them there. But a person who really analyzed it is my editor. He's very good at that. When we shot the film, he can even tell that when he look at the footage, he said, hey, this day you're not okay, right? The team is not okay. So he can tell the atmosphere from the footage, and that he analyzed a lot about what this mean, what that mean, and for me, okay, it's your job. Because sometimes, like I talked to Leslie, is also some filmmaker doesn't really want to explain because it seems like it's killing or making a wall of thinking for the audience, and sometimes it's difficult for me, to explain. explained a lot already. Yeah, I think. But thanks.
Okay. During Masterclass, you had some political references on situation in Thailand, and also there were some kind of indirect references during the film yesterday, when Bhumi says, well, it's my karma, I killed so many, I killed communists. Do you find the actual political situation and the recent turmoils in Thailand inspiring for a film? Inspiring for a film?
Yeah.
Do you think to work with this?
Yes, because I always work with my personal feelings, and in the beginning it's not so much, but lately for the past 5 years, the political situation has become, it's like aging into my personal life, and to the point that, hey, this has become personal issue that I feel like I want to express. But again, I'm trying the way that is, I mean, how can it not be like a book, you know, just, let's say not like Oliver Stone or something that, I give a bad example, but not so direct. I mean, that's, and also to educate myself also about the history. Yeah. So in Uncle Bunmi, when he say about killing communists and Chenjira say, oh, it's okay because you kill for your nation. It's not, you know, it refer back to the time when there's the early 70s, there's a student protest, and a lot of soldiers got into the university and shot a lot of students were killed, like in many places, like in Mexico City, for example. So, but there's not much in the textbooks, and during that time, there's a monk came out, a prominent monk, and saying killing communists is not a sin. So it's the same logic that people use to justify the killing of others. And with the recent protests in Thailand, with the what we call the Red Shirt protest, because of the situation in the center of Bangkok, and it stopped like the business, and it lose a lot of money, and then people kind of get agitated, like, how do we deal with this people? And there's a monk, a young monk, prominent one also, put on his Twitter saying, killing time is more sinful than killing people. So in a way he suggests, you know, just to get rid of these guys. Yeah, so there's a lot of, I mean, about 90 people die, and now it's still not resolved, you know, about the role of the army. So anyway, it's just a cycle of this that has been going on in Thailand, and for me it's just trying to find a way. I mean, lately for the past 2 years, I was really involved, I mean, and following the news and give my opinion to the press, and sometimes brought me into troubles, but at the same, it's very inspiring, like you say, to live in this land that is seemingly peaceful, but it's actually very violent, and how you present it in the film, and I think with the idea of going against the censorship standard also, so that I really think that the next film that, you know, there will be more inclined towards political situation, because Uncle Bunmi is like the wrap up of the whole thing that I had done, and yeah.